Greetings, my name is Darren. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This will be the third part of my basic introduction to opera. Opera is a type of drama set to music where its more meaningful lines are sung, not spoken. You could compare it to a musical. However, it contains stronger and heavier emotional and dramatic content. In the previous two parts, I've presented various types of experiences opera can supply. The first part was for presenting the most important of these experiences, intensity. In the second part, I presented other types of experiences that enhance the musical package that every operatic masterpiece is. I described them as the booster elements in opera, of which there are three categories. In that second part, I presented the first category, the dramatic boosters. In this third part, I'll be presenting the second category of booster elements in opera, the vocal boosters. Every operatic masterpiece has to have intensity if it's to hold its spot in the repertoire. For some masterpieces, you can only feel their intensity if you're able to appreciate the way the singers sing their music. That's because the composers of those masterpieces preferred to use their vocal music rather than their orchestral music for conveying that intensity. For other masterpieces, it's true that you can feel their intensity from the emotions in the singers' voices and the melodies of the music by immersing yourself into them head-on. Nevertheless, being able to appreciate the way the singers sing their music will make it significantly easier for you to pick up the intensity. In an opera, the style of singing, the type of sound the singers make, and the sound produced by the orchestra are all equal partners in creating its overall intensity. Hence, I regard the styles of opera singing as vocal boosters. Unfortunately, despite being vocal boosters, the styles of opera singing can be a big problem for opera. When compared with the current styles of singing in the popular music of our time, to most people, the way opera is sung is so far removed that it's alien to them. In this introduction to opera, I not only hope to be able to introduce you to them properly, but also to convince you these are actually music and not some unearthly sounds. There are three styles of singing in opera. 1. Vocal horsepower. 2. Vocal gymnastics. And 3. Simplicity. These three styles of singing in opera are the vocal boosters that form the second category of booster elements in opera. For my presentation on vocal boosters, I'll start with vocal horsepower, the most straightforward of the three, in terms of their ease of appreciation. This ease of appreciation depends on how quick and strong a physical reaction it can awaken in the listener. The first vocal booster I'm presenting is vocal horsepower. Vocal horsepower is a style of opera singing which revolves around penetrative power and weight. This is the style of opera singing you might have heard before. It's the style used when opera singers scream or shriek in Italian at the top of their voices without a microphone. Have you wondered how people could possibly enjoy that kind of thing? Every one of us likes a good demonstration of physical powers, don't we? To me, one of the peaks of human ability is the ability of an opera singer, male or female, to enable his or her voice to soar over a fully fledged orchestra, whichever threatens to overpower it with its sound and relay it to everybody present in the hall with them. In the case of those singers specializing in vocal horsepower, I experience a thrill when I feel their gigantic voices pierce through my ears to my heart as they commit their vocal reserves. It gets even better during the ensembles when the composers give a few singers the chance to compete with each other in terms of stamina and power. Hearing the combat scenes is like watching a bout in a combat sport, while hearing the love scenes is like watching a superhero movie where the hero and heroine defy the world. With such stamina and power, won't the lead singers sound even more convincing as heroes and villains? This is one reason why the operas that feature singers specializing in vocal horsepower, the Italian operas of Verdi, Puccini and their contemporaries, are repertoire staples in opera houses worldwide. To give you an idea what the experience of vocal horsepower feels like, I'll be showing you a musical excerpt from Verdi's La Forza del Destino. This excerpt is from the last of the duets between the baritone and the tenor from the final act in the opera. the baritone Don Carlo di Vargas has arrived at the monastery to search for the man who killed his father and ruined the honor of his sister. That man, Don Alvaro, is the tenor who had joined the monastery. Don Carlo, grimly determined to avenge his father and sister, tried to challenge Don Alvaro to a duel. Despite Don Carlo's taunts and insults, Don Alvaro refused to fight him. Seeing that no provocation will work, Don Carlo slapped Don Alvaro in the face to insult him for one last time before leaving. Enraged, Don Alvaro accepted Don Carlo's challenge. In this excerpt you'll be listening to, both Don Alvaro and Don Carlo are expressing their emotions about the upcoming duel. This duel will be to the death, so their emotions are naturally running very high. Both Don Alvaro and Don Carlo look forward to their duel, where they can settle things once and for all by killing the other party, hopefully at the cost of their lives. Both characters had been burdened. Don Alvaro had been tormented with regret and guilt for causing the death of Don Carlo's father and dishonoring his sister, which led him to join the monastery. Don Carlo had been weighed down by his duty as a Spanish nobleman to uphold his family's honor. For this excerpt, although this is a very powerful scene, the focus here is not on the characters' emotions, but on the way the singers are expressing them. This excerpt is a vocal duel before the physical duel between the characters. It's an example of the combat scene I mentioned, where you have the two singers here, tenor Franco Corelli in the role of Don Alvaro and baritone Ettore Bastianini in the role of Don Carlo, competing with one another to see whose voice can overpower the others. Both singers are exercising their vocal horsepower. Can you feel how gigantic their voices are? And can you also feel how their voices pierce right through your ears to your heart? Don't you experience the thrill which comes after? This is the fun of the experience of vocal horsepower, which is heightened when both singers bring the full weights of their voices down on each other like their vocal swords. And now to let you try it. What you've just listened to is a live demonstration by two operatic titans. Can't you feel how abundant their vocal horsepower was? That demonstration was in Italy more than 50 years ago, so you can imagine how good the recording technology was. Yet, the impact of their singing can still come true. Isn't this sufficient proof of their superpowers? It's simply tragic that I could only give this mere fraction of their superlative rendition of this musical number to ensure the manageability of this introduction. The second vocal booster I'm presenting is vocal gymnastics. Vocal gymnastics is a style of opera singing which is the opposite of vocal horsepower. Whereas vocal horsepower prizes penetrative power and weight, vocal gymnastics prizes flexibility and agility. When you listen to an opera singer performing vocal gymnastics, or as it is known in the opera world, bel canto singing or coloratura, it's as though they are executing tricks with their voice. They are the ornaments or the decorative touches which the singer applies at various points during the musical numbers. Some ornaments may require the singer to make their voice climb gradually to reach for a note in the stratosphere. Another set of ornaments may require the singer to deliver a rapid succession of notes which will give you the impression that they might be singing a certain musical passage faster. Besides this, there are many other kinds of ornaments. There are also the variations where the singer will repeat certain lines multiple times. Each time, the line the singer is singing will sound different because they will be applying a different set of ornaments. On one hand, these ornaments and variations are for a singer to amaze us with their technical mastery and vocal gifts. On the other hand, the ornaments and variations are how the composer uses the singer's voice to convey emotion. During the period when vocal gymnastics was the style of singing in fashion, composers had yet to or were only beginning to explore the expressive potential of the orchestra. Hence, the main medium of expression in operas of that period was the human voice, whose colors and textures were used to communicate a variety of moods. To give you an example of vocal gymnastics, I'll be letting you hear a musical excerpt from Rossini's Semiramide. The excerpt is from a duet between the title role and the villain of the opera. Semiramide, Queen of Assyria, has chosen a new king. One of the nobles, Prince Assur, is enraged that he's not chosen. After choosing the new king, Semiramide has dismissed Assur from his position. Assur confronts her. Semiramide reminds Assur that he had poisoned the old king, whose ghost had recently appeared. Assur replies that the poison came from her. Semiramide accuses Assur of seducing her into murdering the old king. Assur argues that she had then promised him the crown. Semiramide suspects Assur of murdering her son. The duet starts with Semiramide issuing a warning to Assur that if he continues to value his life, he will get out. In her first line, when Semiramide warns Assur, there is one point when the singer's voice sounds like it's quickly climbing towards a high note for an instant, and another point where the singer sounds like she's holding the note. These are the two ornaments in this line. Now let's hear soprano Jessica Pratt sing that first line. Firstly, the quick climb towards the high note gave the impression of Semiramide reaching for her authority. This ornament was on the Italian word which roughly translates as continue, ancor, so it's to show Semiramide being deadly serious. Secondly, there's the holding of the note at the Italian word which roughly translates as you, te. There's a note of manners, just like how we stress our words when we deliver a threat so that the other party knows we mean business. Semiramide's second line will have variations. The line will be repeated 5 times, twice in full. The first time the line is sung, there are already ornaments throughout. The first half of the line, va tinvola, roughly translating as get out, disappear, has a few ornaments with Pratt's voice climbing towards a high note twice. We'll hear this phrase 5 times. The second half of the line, asquadi miei, roughly translating as from this side of mine, is only sung twice, at the beginning and at the end. First time round, there's an ornament on the word squadi, roughly translating as this side. Pratt's voice seems to be climbing further towards the high note here. This high note seems to carry aversion. There's also an ornament on the word miei, roughly translating as of mine. Pratt seems to be holding one of the notes which make up this word. Second time round, there's only an ornament on the word miei. This time, its syllables are extended over a succession of notes instead. Let's now listen to Pratt execute all these variations in the second line. Semiramide's second line was an order to get out. The climbs towards the high notes gave it more energy and force. The bigger climb towards the high note suggesting aversion showed Semiramide was desperate to rid herself of Assur. The extension of the syllables is to place greater emphasis, expressing how keen her desperation was. From the technical explanation, you might be wondering where's the fun in vocal gymnastics. The fun in vocal gymnastics is listening to the singers execute the many different ornaments in the operas and enjoying the various combinations of ornaments when the singers perform the variations. It's like watching a circus performer performing several variants of diverse stunts during their show. Speaking from experience in listening to most of Rossini's operas, you naturally recognize the ornaments when the singers execute them after hearing a few Rossini operas. That technical explanation was simply for pointing these ornaments out to someone new to opera. The ornaments may sound like bizarre vocalizers to them, since these ornaments are so different from later-day opera singing, not to mention contemporary singing. As for the various emotions conveyed by the ornaments, all the ornaments in one section will come together to give an overall impression or produce an overall effect. If you're able to form that impression or to sense that effect, frankly, it's good enough. It's really unnecessary to figure out which ornament conveys what emotion in order to appreciate a Rossini opera. I only did such an analysis in my explanation earlier to prove that these ornaments aren't ornamental but actually have their uses. There are older opera books out there which insist otherwise. To demonstrate all this, let me show you the next part of the duet between Semiramide and Asur, which is very different from the excerpt from the initial part we listened to just now. In this part, Asur reminds Semiramide that the spectre of the old king's murder haunts her. It's not only the ghost of the old king waiting for revenge, but also her guilty conscience at work. Semiramide confesses how she has suffered all this while, blaming Asur for leading her into it. Now that you can recognize some ornaments, let's hear how the bass playing the role of Asur, Alex Esposito, uses his voice to create a spine-chilling effect, and the soprano playing the role of Semiramide, Jessica Pratt, uses her voice to express a character's emotional burden through their ornaments. These ornaments make us able to imagine that spectre.
Notte di morte, notte di morte. Ombra terribile del tuo consorte, del tuo consorte. E minacciosa di fra le tenebre, il tuo riposo resta ignor, i tuoi lamenti, i tuoi tormenti, le angosce e i palpiti, legge supplizio, legge supplizio. Solo il colpevole, tuo ingrato cor, ingrato cor.
Notte di morte, tre nostre cose va, e del consorte, ombras di morte, infra le tenebre, l'indegna sposa,
That musical excerpt didn't seem that difficult, doesn't it? Rossini's operas offer a wide range of situations where he realized many more possibilities for the human voice. Semiramide is merely one of them. The third vocal booster I'm presenting is simplicity. Simplicity is a style of opera singing which is without ornaments. It prizes smoothness and purity. Compared with the thrilling vocal horsepower and the amazing vocal gymnastics, simplicity doesn't trigger a physical reaction in us which is as immediate. Its defining qualities are more subtle. This style of singing is particularly associated with the classical period, an era where emotions are generally expressed with more restraint. To explain what it's about, I'll be using Mozart's operas since they are the most popular pieces from that period. In Mozart's operatic masterpieces, many of their musical numbers have sections where the singers will sing long sentences one after the other. What I call smoothness is the ability of the singer to make the sentences flow in straight lines. When you hear it, it's as if the words are tightly joined together and you can feel the sentences gliding into your ears one after the other. And what about purity? Purity refers to the clarity of the singer's voice. Their emission has to be crystal clear. A musical number requiring simplicity has no ornaments and it has to be evenly sung so a singer can't deploy their penetrative power. The natural characteristics of a singer's voice are brought into full display here. A naturally beautiful voice will thus substantially increase the pleasure of hearing such a musical number. When I listen to a pure voice sing it with silky smoothness, it sounds so easy that I only notice the tenderness of the music sometime later. Unlike vocal gymnastics and vocal horsepower, which are somewhat mutually exclusive, you can find simplicity in operas reputed for vocal gymnastics or horsepower because it's ideal for sentimental moments. To enable you to understand all these, I'll provide you with a musical excerpt from Mozart's Don Giovanni. This excerpt is from the first of the tenors arias or individual showpieces in the opera. His character, Don Ottavio, is the fiancé of one of the sopranos in the opera, Donna Anna. In the early part of Mozart's Don Giovanni, Donna Anna's father was killed by the man who had broken into a house to seduce her when he tried to catch that man. This had happened late at night, so Donna Anna was unable to establish the identity of a seducer. Later, when Donna Anna and Don Ottavio were out, they ran into Don Giovanni. Suddenly, a woman Don Giovanni had jilted appeared to confront him. After confronting him, that woman stormed off, forcing Don Giovanni to leave Donna Anna and Don Ottavio. Don Giovanni's final words before leaving struck Donna Anna because those were the final words she heard from a seducer when he fled from her home. Donna Anna revealed to Don Ottavio what happened the night she was seduced and her father died. She entrusted Don Ottavio with the duty to avenge her and the father. In Don Ottavio's first aria, he expresses his feelings about this duty. In this aria, Don Ottavio sings about how his only purpose in life is to keep Donna Anna happy and how his heart hurts from seeing her grieve and rage over her father's death. Don Ottavio's lines are the standard lines any lover would say when the father of his beloved has been killed. By themselves, they can mean anything. Mozart's music gives these lines their meaning. At the same time, it also empowers them with a fair amount of emotional weight. However, to be able to appreciate this, you need to appreciate the way the tenor sings Don Ottavio's music. Unlike the music of our times, it's not the background music, but the vocal music which sets the lead. The excerpt we'll be listening to is sung by tenor Stuart Burrows. The style Burrows uses to sing this is an example of simplicity in practice. To be able to enjoy it, there are two things you need to pay attention to. The first is the way Burrows is able to make the sentences he sings come out in straight lines, and the other is the pure beauty of his voice. Note how Burrows' sentences also come out with a light, graceful touch. Didn't Burrows' smooth singing give you the impression that his voice is comforting? This shows the sincerity of Don Ottavio's care and concern for the troubled Donna Anna. It reflects his intention to be her pillar of support amidst her troubles. Didn't Barro's singing also sound very different from the singing of the other tenor we heard earlier, Franco Corelli? It's not that Barro's was inferior to Corelli. Barro's was one of the best tenors who ever sang Mozart. Both tenors were actually two very different types of singers, which shows how opera has a wide range of masterpieces to choose from. If the vibes of the works with vocal horsepower don't go down too well with you, you can always go with the works with simplicity instead. So far, we've heard three different styles of opera singing: the vocal boosters, vocal gymnastics, vocal horsepower, and simplicity. There were three different kinds of sound we heard. Understanding the style of opera singing is for enjoying the kind of sound it makes. As we've listened, the different kinds of sound produce different sensations. Each sensation has its telltale signs, some of which I've described so you know them when you feel them, where you may not have realized them previously. The combination of sensations you receive from the opera is the type of experience it will give you. Now, of course, even among operas known for vocal gymnastics, vocal horsepower, or simplicity, there might be variants of that experience. The musical trends of the different time periods when they are composed, the cultural environments of the countries for which they were written, and the preferences of the different composers all play a part in that. In addition, to state the obvious, every singer gives a different experience. It's not only the fact that different singers sound different, but also because different singers have different levels of technique and or different approaches to the music. Yes, there might be a lot of names, but they are not there to burden your head. They are there to present you with as wide a variety to choose from as possible. Every one of us collectors has different combinations of operas and singers in our listening diets. If you're interested in embarking on your journey into the operatic world, my role is to help you assemble your combination. Today, there's no need to restrict yourself like the time I was starting out. The entire operatic world truly lies at your feet now through streaming and YouTube. All you just need to do is to take that bold step and find the opera or the singer that gives you an experience you like. The operas can be staples or rarities. The singer can be active, retired, or dead. The performances can be in the original language or in the local language, since opera was usually performed in the vernacular until the last quarter of the past century. A performance of a popular Italian opera in French, German, Russian, or English is no less valid than one in the original language, so long as it's well sung. From there, you should branch out into similar operas or other operas which the singer you like has performed. I don't deny there are risks, but branching out is where the fun in an operatic journey lies. My journey has been a fulfilling and memorable one. I earnestly hope that your own journey will be as fruitful for you as mine was for me. Before I present the various operas and singers to help you find your bridgehead into opera, please allow me to finish presenting the last category of booster elements in opera. This presentation will be in the next and final part of this introduction. If you had fun watching this video, please help me like it. If you'd like to continue chasing this series, please subscribe to my channel. If you wish to express your views about it or discuss it further, please feel free to leave a comment. Thank you and stay tuned.